Hello, welcome to my channel, the HR Playbook. My name is Temi, your go-to guide for everything to do with employee relations. What we'll be talking about today? Guess. Employment law changes in the UK. Some of these laws have already come into effect, but some of them will be coming into effect by before the end of 2025. Please stick with me, and I'm hoping to be able to explain to you how these changes would affect you in your working life. Okay? Today I'll be going through 5 changes that came into effect or will be coming into effect before the end of 2025, and how I will look at how these laws will impact your working life in your organization. These are changes brought down by the government to ensure that every employee that works within the UK receive fair treatment from the organization. What are these 5 changes? The first one we'll be talking about is flexible working. The second one would be carers leave. The third one will be the protection for pregnant employees. The fourth one, which is very, very interesting, would be the minimum wage increase. And the last one we'll be talking about today is the protection from redundancy for working parents. So, do you want to go ahead? Let's dive into each of these wonderful new changes and how I will talk about how it will affect you within the within your working environment. The first one we're talking about today is flexible working. What is flexible working and how does that affect you? Well, flexible working is not just about working from home, it's about working flexibly that ensures that both employee and employer are working to the best of their ability. Working flexibly means for you to be able to work in a way that is conducive to both parties, especially in this growing economy where we are seeing different kinds of working patterns. Working from flexibly could mean working a couple of changes to the time you start working, or changes as to when you finish, working a hybrid situation, or working predominantly in the office. Your start time, your leave time, everything has to do with working flexibly. So in this kind of situation, it's not just about working from home, it's about working to the best that makes every party happy. So what are the changes now that we are seeing in terms of flexible working? Prior to this new employment law changes, before you could request for flexible working, you have to have been working for that employer for at least 6 months. 6 months, it's a long time for that. I think in most of this kind of situation, employers wanted to ensure that you are dedicated to working for them and wanting to actually imbibe the culture of that organization. But this, with the new changes now, that has been scrapped. What we now have is that flexible working is now a day one right for employees, which is good news for a lot of employees, especially families that have young children or need that flexibility in terms of their start time and work locations. Flexible working is now a day one right, like I said, and you can request for it as soon as even during your interview stage. And with flexible working, once you make your request known to your employer, they have 2 months to respond to you. And depending on what the policy within your organization is, would determine how your right to appeal is if the situation arises that your flexible working has been denied. So I think you will need, in that kind of situation, you will need to go through the appeal process of your organization. With flexible working, what I tell my managers is about common sense and how does that impact you and how does that impact the business. So we'll need to come to a common ground and understand how best we can both work together. Although with flexible working, some businesses cannot work flexibly, but in a situation where you can, you'll be encouraged to really, really look into it and ensure that you are looking after your employee as well as the organization itself. So it's meant to be a two-way relationship. So that's flexible working. But we can always go back into flexible working in the next video and I can explain more in depth about flexible working and how each arrangement can work. The next thing that I'll be talking about today is carers leave. With carers leave, it's a very interesting one because prior to these changes, most organization, and even now, it's not every organization that has carers leave into like a policy, a separate policy within organizations. But with carers leave now, it's now been mandated that organizations do allow carers to have at least 1 week unpaid leave. Carers now have at least 1 week unpaid leave within that financial year of the organization. So what does this mean? You are now allowed to take at least 1 week unpaid leave from your employer if you do need it. Who is meant to take a carer's leave? Carer's leave is you're going to be entitled to carer's leave if you have young people under the age of 18 within your home that you're responsible for, or you have people in your home that are your dependents. So in that kind of situation, so it can be for maybe your grandma or your mom living with you, or your dad living with you, or children under the age of 18 living with you within your home. Would you be entitled to carers leave within your organization? It's a time unpaid for you to be able to take them to hospital appointments or any emergency that might arise that you need to be there for that person that is regarded as your dependent in your home. So in that kind of situation, you will be entitled to this leave. In some organization, they've gone far beyond in terms of giving you more allowances from carers leave, but what is mandated by law is an 1 week unpaid leave. But you can have an organization that is more generous, can give you more time off work within that financial year, but really depends on which the amount of leave that your organization is prepared to give you as time off for carers leave. The third thing we'll be talking about now is another favorite topic that's going around, is the protection for pregnant employees. So once you've explained to your employer that you're pregnant or you're expecting a baby, you might be the one being pregnant yourself, or you might be adopting that baby. So once you've told them that you're expecting a child, you are protected from redundancy, unfair treatment within the organization. What this means is that you'll be entitled to at least 18 months protection following the birth of that child. Prior to the changes to law, you're only entitled to protection from redundancy or unfair treatment while you're on leave, but now it now extends further after the baby has been born. So, for example, if you've taken a whole year off for maternity leave, you're still protected at least 6 months after you've come back into work. This gives you a very good opportunity to be able to settle back into work because you've been out of work for at least longer than maybe 12 months, 13, 14 months, depending on how on when you've taken your leave, or if you've taken additional leave as after your maternity leave. So depending on that time, you're entitled to at least 18 months of protection from unfair treatment, redundancy within the organization. This helps you to relieve stress, helps you to be able to enjoy your bonding time with your child while you're off on maternity leave. It protects you from discrimination in terms of unfair treatment. All that worries, you don't have to worry about them anymore while you're on maternity leave. So that's a really, really good one. And I do welcome that as well, especially for me as a woman and being a mom as well, who just also had a baby as well. I think that's a very, very good change to the employment law within the UK. The fourth one we'll be talking about today is the minimum wage. With regards to the minimum wage, everyone loves money. Who doesn't love money? And what's with everything that has gone up now in the country, I think having more money in your pocket would definitely count as a benefit to you. With the rising cost of living, it's a small change, but very, very much needed. People that would benefit from this changes to the minimum wage are people within the apprenticeship skill, 18 years old. The fourth one we'll be talking about today is the minimum wage increase. Who doesn't like money? I love money. I'm sure everyone that's watching this video loves money as well. So with the new change to the minimum wage allowances, we're going to be seeing an increase in the amount of money that each age bracket will be getting. I believe between 23 upwards, the new minimum wage would be about £12.20, I think. Following, I think that comes into effect around sometime this year. Between the age of 18 to 21, I believe. I think the new minimum wage for that age bracket is £10, which is a huge amount of money for you to be paid. And in terms of 18-year-olds and apprentices, I think the new minimum wage for that age bracket is about £7.55. This is more money for you. It helps you in terms of the living expenses that you have to go through within your life, and I think it's a welcome advantage for new people. The fourth and final one I'll be talking about today is the protection from redundancy for parents. It's just like with the pregnancy protection as well. Anyone on parental leave, be it maternity leave, paternity leave, adoption leave, you are now protected against redundancy. This change ensures that you're not unfairly targeted in your organization when you are focusing your energies and focusing your time on looking after your family. And guess what? These changes also extend beyond your leave time. So you get extra security while you're transitioning back into work. So, in terms of the protection, it's very similar to what you will be getting while protection for pregnant employees. I think it gives you that sense of calmness, that sense of enjoyment while you're in that bubble of looking after your child. And when you do come back, you're able to slowly transition back into work. So I think with that, I think it does help parents and working families ensure that their focus while being off on their parental leave is mainly on the child that they're looking after. So, what do you think about all these changes that are coming into effect this year, and some of them already coming into effect last year? I want to hear from you. I want you to please share my video, subscribe to my channel so that I can be producing so many more videos with regards to employee relations. All right, I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Take care. Bye.